So what is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the PTS testing phase and patch notes. And what's great about this, honestly, is that we got to see a little bit more about that new PvE game mode countdown. We get to learn a little bit more about the new expertise system. We get to know a little bit about the new gear items, weapons, and armor. And we also get to know a little bit more about the balancing adjustments. And then obviously some bug fixes that they talk about here. But overall, I'm excited because this patch is a step in the right direction. And one thing I've been reading on my channel in the comments, I've been seeing you guys are saying this might not be enough. What happened to the huge update? And I'll say this is a step in the right direction. And before we get into the full video, I did want to read something from the creative director of Ubisoft Massive, the Division game, Yannick. And this is something he did say, so this is actually promising, and I want you guys to really read this and let's talk about it. So it says, agents, before we all jump into the PTS, there's something I'd like you to keep in mind. This year we spent working on the game, and silence was not spent making one gigantic comeback update. It was spent organizing and preparing for continued support of the game. It says, the importance of this update is not in its size, but in it heralding a return to the normal with more to come after that. If this update doesn't contain the changes or content you were hoping for, just remember that there are more updates coming throughout the year. For now, I hope we can all share a happy moment and rejoice the support for the game is resuming. We're live again. So guys, you guys know this game has always been a live service game. And what I took from that is they are excited to keep the game going forward. We should see more updates. And at the end of this, we might even see, I'm predicting maybe some huge expansion. But at the moment, it's going to be updates, updates, updates. And that looks like what we'll probably have for the remainder of the year. But still, we don't know. We do know we are getting Season 9. And we talked about that in the last video. But let's get into the patch notes and talk about, and some of this stuff is actually pretty cool. So I think a lot of you guys will actually enjoy this. Now, I will tell you these patch notes aren't final. And I actually got intel that there are some other gear items and weapons that will be added before the launch of the PTS. So let's get into it. It says PTS 1 will have countdown in the expertise system. PTS 2 will have the new gear and balancing adjustments. And PTS 3 was all of the above bug fixes following phases 1 and 2. So there's going to be 3 phases of the PTS, which I assumed, and that's what's going to take us out. And then that's why I think this probably will come mid-May, early June, probably June 8th, around that time, first week of June. Okay, so let's talk about the new game mode, because a lot of you guys have been very interested in this ever since we talked about it in the last video. It says Countdown is a new 8-player endgame mode for the Division 2. 2 groups of 4 shade agents are deployed to a power plant to prevent a lockdown. Racing against the clock, the agents must work together to secure the site and stabilize the power plant. Believing their mission is complete, the agents prepare for extraction and are pursued by heavily armed and technological advanced hostiles. Hey, sounds like a pretty cool game mode. It seems like we got a game mode that you can get 8 players in that's not a raid, and guess what? You can do matchmaking. So for all of you guys who always hated the fact that, you know, the raid, you couldn't do matchmaking, so this looks like it's kind of like a raid a little bit, right? It's its own game mode, but you can matchmake all 8 players. So pretty cool setting. It's 8 players PvE. It's a timed mission, various objectives, randomized encounters, and the flow of the new unique map. And then it says new gear and weapon drops. So this is probably where you're gonna get a lot of your new gear, new weapons to drop. And it says it's available through matchmaking. So all of you guys who were worried that you wouldn't be able to matchmake if you're solo, shoot, a lot of times I play solo, so I'll be matchmaking on there looking for players. Now I will tell you, they did say, Yannick did say, I just wanted to point this out, he did say one important nuance on Countdown, it's meant for 8 players, right? That's why there's matchmaking. But you can start the session with smaller groups, even solo. The balancing won't change though. So the balancing is not going to change in the game mode, whether you're playing 1 player or 8 players. So it might be kind of tough, and there might be objectives that you need to do that you won't be able to do solo without at least other players. Sometimes hit 2 buttons. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things. We don't know, but that's just something to keep in mind. So that's what we know about the new PvE game mode, which actually sounds pretty cool. Now, expertise. This is also one of the, they talked about this during the intelligent annex, And then, you know, we do have the specialization coming too, but that's going to be coming at a later update. They said they weren't 100% done with it. So that's going to be revamping the specialization trees where you could select the demo class, but you can use stuff from a different class. So it's going to be one big tree, and they said they're not quite done with it. And obviously we'll see that at a later date. So, but with the expertise system, this says expertise is a progression feature that allows to improve the maximum performance of select weapons, gear sets, skill variants, and more. The feature is composed of two types of progression systems, the expertise level and the proficiency rank. It says each eligible item type has a proficiency rank, which can be increased either through donations or kill XP. Only when an item type reaches the highest proficiency rank possible will the agent become proficient with it and be able to increase the grade of the individual items of that type. Every item type has the same amount of proficiency ranks. Additionally, each agent has a unique expertise level, which increases with the proficiency ranks are gained in more item types. Expertise and proficiency is account wide. So it looks like this is another way to min-max your character, right? We had, what did we have? We had the watch, right? That was a way to min-max your character. And I feel like this is another way to min-max your character without increasing level 40. So instead of going from level 40 to level 50, and they could have done that with the watch without doing the watch, but no, the watch was there. And then now instead of going from level 40 to level 50 again, or level 40 to level 60, they have the expertise system, which I think is actually pretty cool. It says types, expertise level, agent level, proficiency rank, item type level, proficiency reaching max proficiency rank in an item type, and grade individual item level. So it's gonna be cool to see how this affects your weapons, how much more damage, how better these weapons perform as you increase your proficiency rank. And then it says the research categories that you can do the expertise on is weapons, gear brands, gear sets, named items, exotic skill variants, and specialized weapons. So a lot of different ways for you to increase that. And I'm excited to see how this all pans out and how it affects you. It could give you a lot of players who are looking for that something to grind for. This could be for you. Now, new gear, this actually got me kind of excited because they didn't give us a lot of the named gears that's coming, because I know there are other items, but they did talk about a few of them. So it says named gear, closer, it's a chest piece. It says talent is perfect spotter. It amplifies total weapon and skill damage by 15% to pulse enemies. And I'm trying to remember, isn't spotter right now 15%? So maybe they're dropping regular spotter to 10%. I thought it was 15%. Let me know in the comments. Now, they did have a backpack. It's called the Setup. This is the another named gear piece coming. It says talent, perfectly opportunistic. Enemies you hit with shotguns and marksman rifle amplifies the damage they take by 15% from all sources for 5 seconds. So just 2 named items coming. Closer is the chest piece and Setup is backpack. They didn't say what piece it's coming on, so I kind of want to know that's very important. We'll check that out tomorrow on the PTS. New weapons. Now, there was a few of these that I was like, hold on, this is what I want. So they have called Dread. It's an exotic variant of the SVD marksman rifle. It says talent, full stop. Shooting enemy builds stacks to a cap of 20. Headshots grant 2 stacks. Each stack grants 2% weapon damage and 5% headshot damage. On reload, you clear all stacks and you gain 5% of your armor as temporary armor for 10 seconds for each stack removed. Now, that's actually pretty good. And it says headshot kills with Dread restores all bullets in the magazine. This does not count as a reload. So if you have a really nice sniper build, this might actually work really good. I can see this being good for even you dark zone snipers who are looking to have something a little bit more. The extra armor that you get when you're reloading could help you out. So it's kind of cool. We'll see how it all pans out. They do have another exotic mask, and the talent is Vicious Cycle. It says taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30. Each stack grants 1% weapon damage. Taking damage at max stack triggers a purge, removing all stacks and status effects, and then dropping a healing cloud which restores 5% max armor for 10 seconds to all allies within the cloud. That's actually pretty cool. Taking damage, you build stacks. This could be a great support player mask to wear, right? So if you put this on, you're taking damage, right? Up to 30, each stack, you're gaining that damage. And then when you do take damage, after you have max stack, it's gonna remove it remove if you have any status effects, which is cool because a lot of times those status effects. And then it says dropping a healing cloud restores 5% of max armor for 10 seconds to all allies. This is going to be a great piece to run in a team setting, and I can see a lot of people actually running this new exotic mask. So 2 really good pieces I can see being very useful. Now this right here actually got me. It's called Blue Screen. It is the exotic variation of the Stoner LMG, which I don't ever use, but look at this. It says talent disruptor rounds. Shooting an enemy marks them and adds a stack to the agent up to a counter of 50. Shooting a marked enemy refreshes the marked and adds stacks to the agent. When you deploy the non-shield skill, it removes all stacks on the agent and all marked targets trigger in an effect. So 1 to 10 stacks is pulse marked targets for 5 seconds. That's pretty cool. It says 11 to 25 stacks pulse and disrupts marked targets for 5 seconds. Look at this, 26 to 49 stacks pulse, disrupt, and disorients marked targets. This could be kind of crazy. This is a crazy status, and I wonder how this works in PvP. And it says 50 stacks pulse, disrupt, disorient marked targets, and all hostiles within 10 meters of marked targets for 5 seconds. This effect will trigger immediately if any marked enemy is killed. That's pretty cool. What I do like is how it's triggered. It says when you deploy a non-shield skill, it removes all stacks on agent and all marked targets triggers an effect. So you can line them up, hit that 50 stack, throw out a skill that's a non-shield skill, and trigger this. This is gonna be pretty cool. Some pretty cool weapons. Another weapon that's probably going to be really viable in solo, in group play. I think this is actually be pretty good. Now, the 2 named weapons are really what stood out to me, which I'm excited for. Check this out. They have a LMG, which is the HKGR9 called Dare. They have the Kingbreaker, which is the TKB 408 assault rifle. They both have perfect flatline, which is amplifies weapon damage by 20% to pulse enemies. After 2 kills, amplifies pulse to the next enemy you hit. So what I want to know is, on this assault rifle or on this LMG, can you put the link laser pointer? Now, is the link laser pointer still a thing, or are they going to be taking that out? We don't know. So if it is, this could be something that you run instead of running something like InSync. And since they are nerfing InSync, which we'll talk about in a second, this could actually be a really good talent for all of you guys who like running spotter builds. Now we go down right here. They talk about, they did a couple balance adjustments. They talk about shields now take significant more damage in PvP. Shields now irresistible disorient their user when broken. So when your shield is broken, you get disoriented. I don't know how long, but that's pretty intense, right? Like, so if you're a shield player and your shield gets broken, you're going to be disoriented. The person's going to lay into you. It's going to be pretty bad. So looks like that. Now it says excluded shields from InSync talent. InSync and perfectly InSync no longer trigger from shield skills. So if you guys don't use a turret, now you guys will, or if you guys don't use some type of damage skill, you're going to need to really proc InSync. You no longer can pull out your shield to proc it when you don't have any kind of damage from any type of skill. It says the text in these talents have been updated. Now they also took out Intimidate. So it says updated Intimidate and perfect Intimidate talents. New behavior. While you have bonus armor, you gain 1 stack each second up to a max of 7. Each stack increases total weapon damage by 5% to enemies within 10 meters. So it updated Intimidate and perfect Intimidate talents. So it's no longer a guaranteed amplified damage. The new behavior is while you have bonus armor, but it's you gain 1 stack each second up to max stack of 7. Each stack increases total weapon damage by 5. So to get a full stack, you have to wait 7 seconds to get 35% extra weapon damage to enemies within 10 meters. It says all stacks are lost when you have no bonus armor. So every time you lose that bonus armor, so I think this is probably going to work better with PvE builds that you run Bloodsucker, because if you get those, you continue those kills and you keep that bonus armor up, you know how you can start stacking it. It's going to work a lot better than running the exotic memento backpack or running adrenaline rush. Those you most likely won't work as well as Bloodsucker does. So it looks like Bloodsucker might be a better fit for Intimidate. This might be something we don't see as much in PvP, but only time will tell. It says all stacks are lost when you have no armor. Now the perfect version just increase it. The max stacks to 8, so you can get up to 40% extra amplified damage. And it says in PvP, this has actually been nerfed, so it's only 4% weapon damage per stack instead of 5. So it's a little bit less. So that's just something you keep in mind. It is a little bit, Intimidate was one of the more powerful talents that a lot of people were running. I can see Unbreakable becoming a meta, but only time will really tell, right? We keep going down and they talk about a little bit of the game adjustments. It says added a disorient effect to players when their shield breaks. We already talked about that. Updated Intimidate, Perfect Intimidate, so there's no ramp up to their effectiveness. It says shields from the effectiveness of in-sync talents. Increase the PvP damage to shields. Repair traps now heal allies for the proper amount. So repair traps were horrible, and it seems like they're gonna improve it. So this might actually be a healer build, might actually run those. So we'll see how that all works. They did get a little bit more into the shields to talk about why they did nerf it all. It says shield skills have been unbalanced for quite some time and have grown to be a dominant build tactic in both PvE and PvP. Combined with in-sync shields provide an unparalleled, no downsides to DPS boost. It says, in addition, Intimidate, when combined with various methods of gaining short-term bonus armor, this made it deeply unfair to ambush situations in PvP and led to an undesirable PvE meta as well. As such, Intimidate now requires a slow build-up before reaching maximal effectiveness. So it looks like balancing adjustments are coming. And remember, this is just step one of many that they plan on doing, and I can see them slowly adjusting it. They really are focusing on becoming more of a live service game, and I'm excited to see what they have. I've always been a big Division fan, so to see them coming back, it's been a long time since we've had anything, right? So as long as this isn't a one and done and we continue on, I think a lot of you guys will be excited. I'll be excited, and we can continue going forward. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of step one of them getting back to work? And what do you guys think about this? All right, guys, I appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I'll see you in the next one. But until then, hey, nothing but skills out. Take it easy, everybody.